So it's Tuesday afternoon. Actually, it's morphed into Tuesday evening on the 27th of January, 2026, here in my living room, in Florenceville, New Brunswick. So I am giving this little video to show what's possible to work with an analog synthesizer, which was devised by Ray Wilson, who he passed away in 2016, so it's been about 10 years since he died. And his website is still active. It's called Music from Outer Space. And what I'm doing is nothing musical. It's just making some interesting sounds, at least for me anyway, using his Sound Lab mini synth, the Mark II synthesizer. I constructed this more than a decade ago, and I just kind of resurrected it yesterday. And I have it as a kind of sound source, and you can hear it running in the background. I have an oscilloscope to the right there, but what I'm doing is I have made a pressure sensitive strip. There you can see that long stick, which is comprised of a variable resistor, sensitive to touch. There's also a volume expression strip. There are actually two strips, one on top of each other. But when I press that strip, it will generate a voltage which is proportional to the position on the strip. And that voltage is sent to Ray's box here as a control voltage. And his box, which I've constructed, and I don't know how many mistakes I've made in building it, it has two oscillators, independent oscillators, on the upper left there. You can go to his website and see this device in more detail. And so then I have a output here, audio output from his device, and right next to the outputs here you can see there's a master control volume. So if I turn that down, then you'll hear the thrumping sound increase or decrease, and that goes to my amplifier, and I'm using a Ubuntu Music Studio software, which you can see on the screen up there. Excuse me. And I'm running in Ubuntu Studio actually three synth generators. They're Yoshimi, or however it's pronounced. And so they are programmed to make certain sounds, which there are a large number you can select from. Sorry. So I'm sending the audio from Ray's box into my system, which one can now hear. But I also have a keyboard controller here, which I can enter a note, and that sends a signal to the MIDI controller of the computer to generate a sound from those Yoshimi synths, effectively type oscillators. But then, in an interesting way, I can take the output from Ray's box and send it into a guitar to MIDI converter, which will attempt to take the sounds from the box and generate as far as it's concerned, to its best approximation, some sort of tone or signal in MIDI code, which is then sent to my computer, which then sends that MIDI information to the different sound generators. So that's the situation, and it may be kind of boring or not interesting many people at all, except myself, that what kind of sounds and situations you can develop. Now, the synthesizer I mentioned has two oscillators, and you can mix them and control their frequencies using analog knobs. And since this is an analog system, it's easy to just look at these things and tweak them around and see how they interact. Now, the sounds can be modulated by different sources. There's this low frequency oscillator which is running now, and you can see that pulsing sound. And on the oscilloscope screen is the triangle wave, which is controlling the amplitude of the output sound in this particular case. So I think if I turn that off, then you just hear this continuous sound from the voltage control oscillator number 1. Now, if I touch my strip down here, then I will change the frequency of that oscillator. And you know, this is kind of silly and trivial, but it's sort of the basis for the theremin. The theremin control of pitch, which uses a different method to control pitch. So now if I go back to this, so there's this low frequency oscillator, which I can select to modulate the pitch. Now if I stop that, and then I'm only using the audio signal from VCO1 now. There's a second one. I'm going to add its mixture in increasingly, and I've got it fairly close in frequency to number 1. So if I'm changing oscillator number 2, then I get them kind of close in frequency. So there's that aspect. So this is the audio signal mixer. So then over here is the voltage controlled, what Ray calls the voltage controlled state variable filter, which changes the sound of what's coming through in different ways, in complex ways. Now, then I can modulate that with the low frequency oscillator, and also through these other envelope generators, generator 1 and 2. So if I start number 2 going, which is over here, I can do that, and I can also do for number 2. It's going at a different frequency. Anyway, so I'm going now. If I turn these modulators, diminish them. Now, if I go back to over here to the modulation, now I'll do. I've got the volume at a certain level. I'm going to turn it down, and then I'm going to plug into the MIDI, the box, which tries to convert sound, electrical signals into some sort of sensible tonal expression, a MIDI signal, which then goes to the computer. So now I'm going to turn it on. or basically by plugging it in. It's battery operated. So there, it's not doing, now it's picking up signals from a raised box and trying to convert it into musical notes and so forth. Now I can also touch this keyboard over here to create a note, a note which I specify. Now if I change my finger position on the resistive strip, then I get different effects. And it depends sort of on many factors, and they're complex, and I can't figure them all out. But if I've just started the low frequency oscillator modulating oscillator number 1, and this is what you can get. Now I will bring in the other modulation of the filter. The whole thing's kind of organic. So I'm turning the volume down and just listening to these sort of random, semi-random signals coming in, and decisions are being made on to how to express them as notes. Now I can change the, I'll change the AD1 modulation. Going to high frequencies here. I've just turned the master volume down so we get different things going on. Now what if I do this? Well, that doesn't, so I'm gonna change the state filter, turn it down. You know, in some sense, the whole thing's kind of organic. It's these things are working together in ways which I can't completely understand what's happening at any one time, and that's what, for me, makes it kind of interesting. So now, what else can I do? Change this. Done that. So there's kind of a demonstration of making interesting sounds, and I'm not associated with Ray Wilson's family or anything, but his website is still active. It's Music from Outer Space. So I think his wife is running the website. I'm not sure. Anyway, so if you're interested in old-time analog synthesizers, take a look at the website. And there, at the website, there's a link to some music which was created in memory of Ray, I think in January 2016. Okay, thanks for watching and listening. Bye.